The first of my top 3 prediction apps for Champions League is most useful for individual player data, live game stats and giving us some solid visuals to assess the situation. The second is best for statistics and info on some of the more intricate markets like both teams to score, scored both halves and cards. And the third has masses of information for pre-match analysis. Follow along as I run you through them on screen, breaking down the best features and where you can find them, because it's unfortunate but some of these are hidden away and get missed out. See the timestamps down below if you're looking for something specific. So the first app I'm going to take a look at is Infogo on the screen here via the desktop version, although you can get it as an app on your phone too. But really, what we need to focus on here, if we're looking to make predictions for the Champions League or any other tournament, then you need to find yourself some value. So you need to know what's happening in relation to what's likely to happen, which is why I prefer this app more than most in play, because it gives you in-play statistics. If I go back to yesterday's matches, select one of these here, you'll see what I mean. So you've got several different tabs here. You've got the usual stuff, possession, all that kind of stuff. You've got your XG figures up the top, but this is updated live whilst the match is actually happening. So it's good to have it open, on your phone, on your desktop, whatever, whilst you're watching the match, you're placing your trades, your bets, if that's what you're doing, making your predictions. So if we come back to the summary tab here, I'd also like to show you some of the data you can get individually on a per team basis and even down to a per player basis, because I don't think a lot of people realise these are here. So if we click West Brom, go to the stats tab over on the right, and there's plenty more here, by the way. I won't go through all of them because we'll be here forever, but stats tab, scroll down to the bottom. One that I find in particular is useful when it comes to like 2.5 goals, and if a team is under or overperforming at that point in the match, is the average goal time. So you've got the first match goal, first team goal scored. You can change that for overall, home, away, and they've got all the data in the back end there showing you on a per team basis, and the most recent information, because the most recent and the most relevant information is the best information when it comes to building up some kind of comparison to work out where the value is. Now, another cool thing that you can do here is change the variables. So you can go back and see on per season basis, obviously there's lots of different factors and variables into that, but you can see the different data per season, including the expected goals, a statistic that's becoming more and more efficient over time, more useful into the future. If you don't know a lot about XG, then check out a separate video on the channel. We've got one explaining it all there. But one other cool thing that I want to show you with Infogo here that I really like in play is the shot maps and percentages. So if we go to the stats tab there, this is live information whilst the match is streaming and updated all the time. You can see that the previous shots that have gone off here, and there's a little key down the bottom to explain those. So the larger the circle means that there's more probability of there actually being a goal. If you click on the individual outcomes, you can see that the player's name, the time at which it happened, and the probability. So you can be looking at this information and comparing it between what you expected with a little bit of pre-match analysis or based on what's happened in previous events, in line with what's actually happening live in the match, and also factor in some other things like possession and what you actually physically see in there. So this really helps for those in-game predictions or confirming those predictions as they unfold to make sure that you can actually find the value in the marketplace. So the second app that I want to talk about is FootyStats, and this one really is useful to drill down into those specific situations like both teams to score, first half, second half goals, scored both halves, because it gives you some better data over the entire league for that. So to find that, if you go at the top here, stats, both teams to score stats, very simple. It gets a little bit confusing at first when you look at that, but if you find the little selector down the side, that's really the key. So if we look for Champions League, obviously comes under Europe, then we can see the both teams to score stats for the current season for Champions League. Now you can change around some of those variables, and probably the little breadcrumb tree at the top there is something that you want to bear in mind to go back and forth with. But the real problem here, and I think it's not that it lets itself down, but it's just a little bit harder to navigate, and there's so many different menus and so much data available. Obviously you can see you've got separate tabs along the top here, clean sheets, goals conceded, goals scored, etc. Even some XG in there too. But that's pretty good for the current season's historical data and information for those specific and unique situations. Also, if we head back to the both teams to score stats page, you'll see down the side here you've got a separate menu tree which is helpful for some different situations. So you've got corner stats, first half and second half goals, as I previously mentioned. And again, it gives you information there. You can even select second half too. It gives you the different data for that. So FootyStats is pretty good for those unique situations if you're doing a little bit of pre-match analysis, trying to find the value. There is a premium version for that. Obviously that costs money. find that out on the site. We'll leave a link down below for that too. But the last one I want to come on to is SoccerStats. So this one is, again, a resource that's been around for a very long time. There's a lot of information there. Looks a little bit more dated on the website, as you can see on the screen here. But it's good for looking at things like first 15-minute goals, last 15 minutes, and you can break it down even to 10-minute sections, as I'll show you in just a second here. So to take a look at some of the information, show you how to navigate around, on the SoccerStats homepage, up the top there, we'll go for leagues. We'll scroll down, pick something familiar. Yeah, that'll do. Stats, obviously, for Premier League. And you can see you've got overview, matches, the table, current scores, form, all that kind of stuff. If we scroll further down though, I typically like to use the stuff nearer to the bottom of the page here. This little tables overview is good. Obviously, you've got a league table, form table for the last 8, home, away, offence, defence, and there's more menu trees upon menu trees, but these are great quality statistics for building up your perception and overall view before the match even starts. So one thing that I always do as well is using them in conjunction with each other. Take a look at the stats on SoccerStats, build up an idea of what you expect to see, then take a look at the Infogo in play to see if it's actually happening and where it should be in comparison to. So down the bottom here, these little menus are quite useful. We've got first half, second half, obviously goal stats, relative performance, everything, form tables, the whole lot. But arguably the most useful thing that I've already mentioned there is the time segment. So to find that one, it's a little bit different. Up the top here, you can see we've obviously got these different sub-menu trees once more, head to head, goals, form. But the one that I'm interested in is timing, right? So this gives us this table here, which shows you the teams goals per time segment, so first 15 minutes, second, third, fourth, so on and so forward, all the way through the match. So you can see, and it highlights with a nice little heat map, which areas is where there's most likely, or there's been the most goals. So there's likely to be in they form patterns going forward, is what I'm trying to say. So further down you've got at home, then you've got away, which is obviously useful to add sort of those sub layers on top. But right at the bottom of the page, again probably neglected, you've got the total home and away for that too, and you can just see how the heat map changes when I click those. But it gives us per 10 minutes, so it's even more accurate. So one cool thing that you can do between these different prediction apps, when you're making your Champions League predictions or whatever other league, you take a look at these goals scored per time segment, and then again marry that up based on what's actually happening on pitch. Another thing that I probably breezed over there as well is you've actually got hot goal scorers and stuff like that. If you go back to the latest tab, it'll be down the bottom there. Scroll back down, and it's at the bottom there, scorers, tap that one, so you can see who's hot, who's not, who's in form. Are you looking to place your wagers on what's likely to happen in terms of players, and see how they've been performing historically, and make more accurate predictions as a result of that. So hopefully that's useful, but bear in mind when it comes to placing wagers and bets, making a consistent profit only happens when you can see and measure a bet's value or identify an overreaction in price. I show you how to identify a situation where this happens consistently here, along with 2 other football betting strategies that are proven to be effective. Thanks for watching, see you next time.